First, some good information, just so that you know you have it. Let me tell you about the carbon cycle. Carbon cycle. Mother Nature has this great big cycle where she takes carbon and accidentally puts it into the atmosphere, as in volcanoes. You get lots and lots of volcanoes erupting all at the same time, and you get carbon dioxide and other gases put into the air. When this happens, it warms the earth. And at that time, Mother Nature says, something's not right here. So she starts creating great big storms that takes all of that carbon dioxide, dissolves it in the water that she's putting down to the earth, and all this carbon starts to settle into the rivers and ponds and stuff, and then it flows to the ocean, and little creatures use it to build their shells. They die, it settles down into the ocean floor and turns into rock, and then gets put back into the earth. And that's how Mother Nature cools the earth off. Now this usually takes about 10 million years, give or take a million years or so, okay? And that's the carbon cycle. Goes down into the earth, volcanoes bring it up, she takes it and puts it back in. Okay, now to our story. 201.3 million years ago, give or take a decade or so, there was these large, great big animals that roamed the earth, right? And you're saying, aha, dinosaurs, right? No, sorry. This is the age of the reptiles. This is the Triassic period, before the Jurassic period. Now, we're not talking the crocodiles and alligators that we see today. Think about 9-foot crocodile walking on 2 feet with teeth a foot long, okay, coming at you. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about animals that would give velociraptors a run for their money. So they, all kinds of good things. And that's what they did. And at this time, all of the Earth's land masses were one, Pangea. They were all together, right? For about 10 million years, right where the east coast of the United States and the west coast of Africa and England and France, that had been pulling apart for about 10 million years. And this great big lava bubble was coming up underneath it. And then one fine day, rip, it just opened up, and water came pouring in, and volcanoes came shooting out. This was called the Central Atlantic Magmatic Province, or CAMP for short. Now, we're talking about from the Bay of Fundy to Brazil, England, France, Morocco, all of that. And lava came pouring out and out. I mean, a lot of lava, we're talking about that would cover 1/3 of the moon. That's how much lava came pouring out. And along with the lava was carbon dioxide. And all this carbon dioxide went into the air, and it wiped out about 75% of all the life on Earth. This is called the end Triassic mass extinction. So think about this now. Look around the room and think about 75% of the people here just suddenly being gone. Now you say, okay, this is all good information. What's this got to do with the Dharma? Well, let's think about it. Think about the first noble truth. There is unsatisfactory conditions, true sufferings. The second noble truth. There is a cause of unsatisfactory conditions, true causes. The third noble truth. There is a way out of unsatisfactory conditions, true cessations. And the fourth noble truth, the path of unsatisfactory conditions of getting out, true paths. So let's look at the third noble truth, cessations of unsatisfactory conditions. In other words, understanding nirvana. Now, nirvana is not a place out there someplace. It is in your mind. It is when your mind is free of anger, attachment, and ignorance. Yes, ignorance. Yeah. It's a state of mind that humans can reach. It is a state of profound spiritual joy without negative emotions or fear. And the Buddha was a living example that this is possible in a human lifetime. But only by practicing can you come to understand true cessations, nirvana. But knowing that there is a way out of these unsatisfactory conditions gives us a reason to practice. Otherwise, why bother, right? Now, back to our story. The earth is in trouble. Climate deniers can whine and complain all they want, but the facts state otherwise. Since the Industrial Revolution, humans have put carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Mother Nature so thoughtfully buried it, and now humans are taking it out and they're burning it and putting it back in there. And since the beginning of the revolution, Industrial Revolution, the Earth's temperature has risen 1.4 degrees overall. Now you may say, 1.4 degrees, that's not very much. But the last time the Earth was 4 degrees warmer than it is right now, there was no ice at the poles. Then the ocean temperature and the ocean water was 260 feet higher than it is right now. So that's a big deal, okay? And and if this happens, lizards, they'll be fine, birds will be fine, but humans? Now think about it. After the Triassic mass extinction, that's when the dinosaurs came in. And that was about, but it took about 10 million years or so for them to get going, give or take a million years. And they ruled the Earth for 135 million years, give or take a couple million years. Because they were not taking their brothers and sisters and their predecessors and putting them back into the atmospheres. Humans have been around for like 40,000 years, and that's it. And look what we're doing to our planet. But is there a way out? Is there something we can do about it? Well, yes, there is. The first thing we need to do is end our reliance on oil, gas, and coal, and invest in wind, solar, and geothermal power. It's possible, but as long as the fossil fuel companies support and own our politicians, it's probably not going to happen. But there is another way. There's this company in Iceland, and it's called CarbFix. And what they do is really neat. What they do is they take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, they add it to water, and they inject it into the earth, into basalt rock. And it works. This basalt rock then turns to limestone. And it traps the carbon dioxide. There's a geothermal power plant in Iceland called the Hellisheidi Geothermal Power Plant. And they got zero carbon emissions because that's where this is all happening at. And it's wonderful. And if you think, well, maybe we don't have enough basalt. Well, all that lava that's been spewing out over all the time, that's basalt. All right? And it's moving towards the mid-oceanic ridges, and it's being sucked down into the earth. So there's plenty of basalt around it, so we're not going to run out of it ever. And so it's wonderful. And the European Union supports this. My question is, why doesn't the United States? And there are other ways of doing, people are working at trying to solve this problem. But if we don't do something now, we ain't going to have a chance to do it later. And it's just like the third noble truth. If you don't take the time to practice, you're going to get nowhere except for being reborn in samsara. We have to do it now in order to get where we want to be. And be honest, wouldn't you rather be in nirvana?